Already today's the challenge the Lakehouse still, faster detection, no lockpicks, and takedown limit. It's faster detection, so that's already not all that great because it's Lakehouse where all of the guards are really paranoid. Or at least for the most part, maybe not paranoid, but more so just attentive. But aside from that, we've got to actually lure guards to try and get a disguise, which is relatively important for Lakehouse, so that's not all that great when we can't actually directly lure any guards, but we can always lure a camera over there, which is exactly what we're going to do over there, and that was not close at all. But aside from that, there's no lockpick, so we're going to be using a drill instead, and then a takedown limit, so we can't just clear the entire map, which would be much simpler for not getting caught. So we're just going to answer the radio, we're going to get a door open, and then hopefully we could just lure inside guards, and things will go much better from there on out. At least that's the hope, since we, once again, can't actually clear everyone, which would be quite nice for our goals right around now, but we could just leave that over there, absolutely no one's gonna care, and then hopefully we can try and find where the power box is. So presumably the guard's gonna not notice anything, and we're just gonna run across over. I'm just gonna go this way, and it's gonna go absolutely fantastic. Right then. This is maybe not the best spot for the power box, or in this case, the door. But then again, one guard's looping around, and the other two guards are presumably going somewhere in that direction, so I'm not really feeling any threats from this direction, so hopefully that's actually true, and we can actually get this rewired before we meet anyone, which would be not that great for what we're trying to do right around now. So we're just gonna go through here, we're gonna go all the way over here, and then, well, I suppose Cyber could lure someone, but we're just gonna go in through here first, and then maybe consider working on actually trying to find a camera operator. Not so that we can actually take them out, but more so just so that we can interrogate them, finding head of security, and then at least get rid of radio so that we can bag everyone up first so that things don't go absolutely terribly, which seems like a relatively important goal. And if this is we are not taking out the camera operator anymore. It is absolutely not worth it in that situation, or more so it's probably not worth it unless we get some absolutely perfect situations where there's no one inside or anything, which I find highly unlikely, so we're just gonna leave it at that. And then we're just gonna find the files, and it's gonna go absolutely fantastic. Which, I mean, works out just fine by me, and well, I mean, we've got a code, which is always nice, so we're just going to try and wait for some opportunity where no one's actually staring at the door. And then we're just gonna get it open, since Cyber doesn't actually have a disguise right around now, even though a disguise right around now would be quite nice for what we're trying to do. So if that guard could just walk inside so that things don't cause any problems, we could just close that over there, and then we could just get this open over here, which is relatively simple, so we're just going to get it drilled open. And then afterwards, it's just a matter of waiting. In that we've got this door to first of all drill open, we've got the computer to actually search, and then we've got waiting for Cyber to actually get inside with a disguise so that we can actually try and know when it's safe to go back outside. So hopefully, things go well, so we're just gonna get this open first, and we're gonna go inside and search it. And I mean, I guess we could look at the shadows over here and roughly guess where everyone is, but that's not really a very rigorous strategy, in that we could think that a guard's over there, and it could just be slightly far off, and well, in that case, the guard would be staring right at a door. Which would not be all that great for not getting caught, even though we can still technically take out 3 more guards, but the radios are most definitely still existent, which means that we can't just take out all 3 at once, because we are not answering 3 radios at once, and well, aside from that, it's just generally not a good idea to take out 3 of the 4 guards inside, even though it could technically work out if things go absolutely perfectly, which I find highly unlikely. So for now, as we slowly get more and more stressed with the time that everyone takes to do anything, we're just going to awkwardly wait over here for, hopefully, one of these servers to finally be done. And for now, we could always just look at these shadows, which are quite useful, but aren't all that useful, and I guess we could always just grab some intel whilst we awkwardly wait. I mean, that spot's quite nice because it's right outside the door, except that it faces away, and well, it's a relatively obvious location. Now, there are the remaining guards, which this one would be rather problematic, since actually, is it rather problematic? It's right over there, and well, maybe not, but that's kind of the issue with looking at shadows, it's just that it doesn't really work out all that well. So presumably we could just awkwardly wait over here, and hopefully we could actually get an intel that we want relatively soon, so that we can grab the server, which is still powered on, so that's maybe not the best idea, but it's fine, it'll be alright, and we can just run through here, all the way through here, and then afterwards just wait for Cyber to tell us when it's safe to go out, which, you know, would be quite nice so that we could actually get out safely and then subsequently not get caught. So just going to slowly get this open, just not actually open, so that we can hopefully spend less time opening and closing the door so that things won't go absolutely terribly, which we're still waiting on a signal, which would be quite nice to have, even though we completely missed that, but we could just close it over there. And as long as we don't get caught by any guards going outside right now, we should be doing relatively safe. Provided that we can actually find the door that we came in from, which is presumably this one over here. So now that we're done with that, we're just going to hop down over here since I'm not dealing with any of that mess over there. And unfortunately, the camera is still most definitely existed over here, so hopefully it's been looped by someone, which it has not been, but it's not reinforced cameras instead of no lockpicks, so we can definitely get out of here. And that's definitely a viable strategy. So we're just going to get over here. We're going to be right over here. And then we could just awkwardly wait for Cyber to show up, which might happen sooner or later, but for now we're just going to awkwardly wait over here since we've got a solid 2 minutes or so to awkwardly wait over here for Cyber to eventually show up. Provided that a guard doesn't walk down over there, which so far isn't happening. Which is great and all, except for the fact that there are 2 guards over there, which I'm not particularly fond of since that's not all that great for not getting caught, but for now Cyber's going to... That's only slightly terrifying, but we still haven't been caught. Cyber can grab a disguise and, well, don't walk over here. That's not how this works ideally, so if you could just not cause me any problems, we could have Cyber answer the radio over here, or we could just get out of here really, really soon, and well, if Cyber chooses to answer the radio, we could always just awkwardly wait over here as the radio's answered, and the guard's gonna see absolutely nothing, which is perfectly fine, and then we could just get out of here, and that's the daily challenge in just over 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Now that wasn't unusually awkward at all. Cheers everyone, have a great time!